Hey up everyone, it's Sophie here.
Hey up, and it's Richard as well. She's got me back again.
I've got him back. I have got him back. And it's September.
Where did that go?
How did summer disappear?
It just went.
It
It
did.
just went.
I mean, to be fair, we did get quite a good summer, I would say. It was very hot.
Yeah, certainly was hot, dry, very dry
It's
summer.
been lovely. And today, I suppose we're gonna talk to you about the changes that is happening in the autumn. But before that, we're just gonna have a little catch up about what we've been doing in that there nature.
I know, it's amazing what you get up to in nature, isn't it? Go on. What have you been up to then?
What have I been up to? I have been trying to forage one thing a month. That's been my goal, to forage one thing a month. So I did blackberries the other month, and then in August I did fireweed. So this is a fun fact. So
It's not
fireweed.
an A-class drug, by the way.
No,
Rose Bay Willow.
no. Um, so I think most people see fireweed, but they don't know necessarily what it is or what it looks like. I will put a picture below of what fireweed looks like. It's a pink flower, and they're very tall, spindly plants
Yeah,
with like leaves coming out. I don't know. I'll put
yeah.
a photo.
Thin leaves. Look at the picture, and Sophie puts it up probably about down here. But it's called fireweed because it colonises ground after fires, especially in America. After wildfires, but over here as well. And even though it's going way back in history, the bomb sites in London in World War II were colonised by rose bay willow herb or fireweed. They were like the first bits of nature to get back into reclaim. So yeah.
It's a good fact, Richard.
Oh, factoid of the day.
You're full of them.
I'm full of it. Yeah.
But yeah, what you can do is you get the stem, you just run your fingers down, take the leaves, you can collect the leaves, and then you rub them between your palms to ferment them. Then I put them in a box for 3 days with a lid on, and just checked that they wasn't going like mouldy or out. And then after that, I just dried them out, and it said to dry them out in the sun, but we live in England, there was no sun. So what I did was, you said you can put them in the oven at a low temperature for about 20 minutes. So I dried them out in the oven, and then that was it. I put them in a jar, and it's great. The tea's really nice.
Yeah.
I was dead shocked because I thought I burnt them when I done it. I was like,
So
no.
what's it similar to? Is it similar to anything that we're used to?
It's like a sweet black tea, but it's caffeine free.
Wow.
And it's not like super strong or out, but it's definitely worth doing. It's quite sweet, and it just smells really good. So I can actually link the recipe below that I used as well.
Give that a go.
It's really easy.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how like easy it was to do. So I was dead happy with that.
All the best things are, aren't they? Run the moth trap in the garden, and that brought in a few surprises. August and September are good times for migratory moths. It's not just birds that migrate.
Oh,
And
I didn't know that.
yeah. So that was worth doing. It's like as you set the moth trap, as I say, it's like setting up the box of chocolates, because next morning when you open it, you never know what you're going to get. And just in numbers, it was amazing. I had 170 large yellow underwing in the trap, and we had 24 species of moth. And it's just amazing, the colours and stuff. That you just see moths in the house flapping around your light, but when you see the variety of moths, from micros, teeny ones, so the moth trapping was really good, and everything from micro moths, macro moths to normal size moths. And micro moths, I've been looking at galls with really good friend Dave, who's an extraordinary entomologist, and he's been showing me all the different galls, which are the little kind of brown tracks you see on leaves. You see the bumps and the brown tracks, and they are larvae of very tiny moths, and each type of moth has a different track, and we call those tracks galleries. And it's amazing how in depth you can get on stuff, and you can identify the moth from the shape of the gallery, whether it follows the outer edge of the leaf, whether it goes in like a fish hook into the middle, But even more amazing, you can identify it from the fracas, which is the poo in the galleries. You call these tracks galleries. So that's, for me, that was amazing. It opened up a whole new world. That did.
I need to ask you questions though, Richard,
Go on.
because I need to. First of all, I thought a gall was when you get that brown. It looks like a bird's nest on a tree,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's like I don't know. It's like when the tree
When
gets
you,
ill, but it's okay. It doesn't damage it. Do you know what I mean?
so are we talking about acorn galls, or what we talk? Or
I didn't know there was different types of
there is.
galls.
I'm just looking if there's. We've got
So
on oaks. We've got spangle galls and all sorts.
because I saw them on silver birches mostly, and they were like round, like all twigs. Do you know what I mean?
Like a witch's broom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a gall is a result of a reaction by the host plant to the insect that's chosen it to host its egg and larvae.
Oh, so it could look loads of different things.
Loads of different things can be galls. So yeah,
Right.
we could do a whole program on galls, but we won't because you'll all be asleep or spill your cup of tea. But,
I'd like that. I'm sad.
But the galls that you see most often, without really looking too hard, are when you see the acorns at this time of the year, which have totally changed and they've gone all lumpy and things like that.
So, Richard.
Yeah.
It's September.
It is.
The times they are changing.
They are.
I noticed a few weeks ago the first brown leaves falling down.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a big shift going on in nature at the moment. We're moving into the second to last season of the year. What changes can we expect from our fellow wildlife, and what is there to look out for at this time?
Okay, well, yeah, 1st of September is the start of the meteorological autumn, and also everybody's gone back to school as well. Everybody's really happy about that, aren't they? So many people are really happy about that. But yeah, autumn it's really swinging, it's kicking in now, and after such a dry summer, some trees have suffered, like we talked about previously, and yeah, things are beginning to go brown. Behind us, the oak is still green, but in the background you can see a silver birch and its leaves are going to yellow. The whole thing about going from green through to yellow through to brown is the fact that the chemical in the leaves is chlorophyll, and that's what makes it green, and that's what helps the tree or the plant to take in all the nutrients. And it does. The broadleaf trees don't need that in the winter, so if they keep their leaves, they're at higher risk of being blown over, etc., and things like that. So they shed them and they do like a managed retreat, and that's why you see the trees changing colour. They go from green as the chlorophyll diminishes to yellow to brown, and at the same time, the stalk attached to the twig is beginning to heal over. So that it self-amputates in a way, looking at it like that. And the tree doesn't harm itself doing that, it's just like managed retreat to the trunk, and it goes fairly dormant. Obviously, and then the tree starts to produce buds for the coming year, but it's the dormant time for many trees. And that's why we see the great natural palette of colour. With changing climate, trees are holding on to their leaves longer. You think 20 years is nothing now, but many years ago leaves had dropped by bonfire night really, and now you watch this year, see when you're last seeing green leaves on trees, and see when your last tree drops, be it in your street, be it on your local walk, be it in your garden, be it in your park. And people have been doing that for years, phenology, of noting the first and the last, and the whole nature's calendar is changing, very much so. But yes, it's autumn is with us, which is fabulous.
It is fabulous, and I think going back to what you're saying about the trees, people that don't know, there tends to be, I suppose, there's the two main types of tree, which is the broadleaf, which are the ones that get rid of their leaves, like things like the oak and the birch and rowan and all that, and the beech. And then there's the evergreens, isn't they? Which
Yeah,
is normally like pines and that.
yeah.
I don't know very much about evergreens. I just know that they keep,
Clues in the name again.
well, they're always green.
Yeah,
They stay green all year round. I just find them hard to ID, all the different pines and
yeah.
stuff.
And the reason for why conifers retain their leaves is that they can shed um, ice and snow more easily because it's like a needle, so things fall on it and fall off. Whereas with a big oak leaf, it, you think after a snowstorm, if an oak tree was covered in snow, the weight of it would start to snap branches, and branches would fall off, and that's why that's another reason for them shedding leaves.
Yeah.
Some conifers do shed leaves, things like larch. They do shed their needles, um, which are the same as leaves, but they're differently made up. And you can look at some amazing conifer woodlands, and you can see that at this time of the year you can identify the larch because they're the yellow conifers as their colours change as well,
I want
and
to
they
go.
shed them.
I want to go look at some. Like, I love larch.
Yeah,
I love them because they're pine. They're thingy. Their
they're
pines are all.
cones.
That's it. They're cones. That's what they're called, not pines. They're all really close to the
They all
stem.
sit like a little, I don't know, series of family almost, don't they, or a little herd of sheep or something.
So, Richard, what kind of animals or birds or things can people look out for in the September times?
Right. Well, September, as we talked about uh, previously, is kind of the bountiful season. It's the foraging season. So it's not just people out blackberrying and elderberrying and rowanberrying. Wildlife is out there feeding up. So even close to you, you'll see squirrels grabbing acorns and burying them in lawns and parks. You'll see jays doing the same, and they are hoarding for the hard days of winter, so that they find a source of food. And of course, jays and squirrels don't always have a great memory, so they're also planting future trees. So that's a good kind of behaviour to look out for when they're burying stuff. You'll see birds like blackbirds and song thrushes gorging themselves on blackberries, and of course that's one way of dispersing the seed from the blackberry, because they'll gorge themselves on them and then fly off, and wherever they roost they'll do a poo with loads of seed in, so that that's next year's plant transported away. And you'll also see birds at the moment, like wood pigeon. They're feasting on elderberry and also acorns. They are traditionally woodland birds, and they'll be on beech mast and acorn. It's going to be interesting to see what the mast year's like, because it's been such a dry year. We're not going to have plump acorns necessarily. We're not going to have plump beech mast. We're not going to have plump sweet chestnut. So it'd be interesting to see what it's like around your neck of the woods, to see what sort of year it is for acorns and mast, because of the dry weather. And that then is a ripple effect for things that feed on it. People have been noticing this year that a lot of birds have been feeding much earlier on stuff, and there's been people have been worried that there won't be enough for the winter visitors when they arrive, because they're beginning to pile in now. There's a lot of wading birds coming in from Northern Europe. Some of them have semi-completed their molt, and they'll get to the UK, and then they'll molt a bit more and feed up, because changing the feathers, molting the feathers, takes a lot of doing. It burns a lot of energy, and they need to replace that energy before they then hop on to their next stop.
Do they molt every year?
Yes, they molt every year. They molt in some birds start early spring. Adults, things like ducks, we talk about them going into eclipse, so you'll see them in their finery and their breeding plumage, and then come midsummer they'll have changed into something quite dull and brown. because they can't, if they've lost their flight feathers, they can't escape so quickly. So therefore, if they're brown, they're more camouflaged. Young birds get their first feathers. They're born in the spring, summer, get their first feathers, and then they start to molt through to their adult feathers. And some birds, like gulls, can have 4 or 5 years of molting their feathers to get to full adult plumage.
I know when I went to go do bird watching up north, they had not guzzlers, what they're called, gannets.
They're guzzle fish.
Gannets. They
Yeah.
had they took like 5 years
They
to
do.
get their beautiful white, creamy and yellow face.
Yeah. They start off quite brown, dark, ugly duckling sort of thing, and then they molt through, and you get black and white ones, and more white than black, more black than white, and then eventually go through so they're pure white with the black wingtips and the yellow head.
They're very beautiful.
Yeah.
And who are our visitors that are just starting to come in?
Right.
Okay.
Well, at the moment, we're just getting our first snipe back from Northern Europe. They started arriving. In the next few weeks, we'll start getting woodcock back, which are quite a dumpy snipe. So it'd be good to get them back. We talk about woodcock moons on clear moonlit nights. They come over the North Sea from Russia, and we talk about woodcock moons. So they'll be coming. As I say, we're having ruff, which are lovely waders, and they're amazing birds because you look at them and you think, now is that a ruff or is it something else? It's one of those classic birds that gets you guessing if you get it in different plumages, because they really do change. So they're coming in. Green Sandpipers are coming in. So they'll be stopping off. Some will overwinter with us locally, and some will carry on going south. First pink-footed geese are coming in on the east coast, I understand, so we will be getting those on clear, bright days from the end of September, October onwards. You'll hear them inking, like little pigs flying over you, flying quite high in V formation. And they're quite small, dark geese. They're lovely. So they're coming, and to feast on our berries, we'll be getting fieldfare and redwing, which are thrushes, and they're lovely. They're lovely to look at. If you get a chance to get close views, you don't necessarily need binoculars with them. Just stand by a hedge and watch for big thrushes in the tops of hedges. So that's good. And we've got, at the moment, it's been a good week nationally, certainly on the east coast, for wrynecks, and we had a wryneck in Derbyshire up on the moors near Edale a few days ago, but they're little woodpeckers, and they're coming over from Scandinavia and heading down to Africa. On the east coast at the moment, there's redstart and pied flycatchers moving through, and the redstarts go down to like the central band of Africa, the Sahel over to Eritrea, and that's where they'll overwinter, but they'll have spent the summer with us in Derbyshire up in the limestone dales. They nest in holes in oak trees or in dry stone walls. Beautiful coloured birds. We might do something on them next summer. We'll do a field visit and try and get some footage.
Richard is saying this because I love redstarts.
You do, don't you?
I do, and I've not seen one, and it's bothering me.
That's going on Sophie's wildlife you'd like to see list.
I have started making a list. It's quite long, so sorry to say that now.
She's making a list, and we've not even mentioned that midwinter festival word either, and she's making a list already.
I know.
So we'll see what develops there.
I don't possibly know what he's talking about.
And warblers are coming through as well, but if we get a big blow of easterly winds, which is amazing to think about, we get birds from Asia. We get things like yellow-browed warbler, we get rads and dusky warbler on the east coast, and equally we get strange things inland. Near Ashby in Leicestershire this week, we've had icterine warbler, which again will be a bird from the east, not necessarily a bird from the south. So that's got caught up in weather systems and got blown over the sea and dumped in the middle of Leicestershire, which is a bird you don't expect. But that was caught in a ringing net and had a BTO ring put on it, and it'd be interesting to see where that turns up next. Oh, and tawny owls.
Oh.
Tawny owls, now's a good time when you're out at night to listen for male and female tawny owl. The twit to woo, the kiwik is the female, and the is the male answering her back. And I was listening to 3 males the other night. Now through to November is the time when they pair up, so that's a good time to. That's good as well.
Well, I'll be looking out for that.
Yeah,
then. Sounds really good. As always, I thank you for your,
right.
knowledge.
Thanks for inviting me back.
It's all right. It's good to have you back. It's good to have you back, and I think yeah, we will return in October.
Yeah.
In October.
I know, and I'm spending the first 2 weeks of October on the Isles of Scilly, hoping to see American birds.
Oh wow!
So I might have something to talk about then.
That'd be really exciting.
So it might next month's edition may be a bit later.
Bit later, but that'd be great because then we could talk about all that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
No pressure.
All right then.
So thank you as always for coming and chatting to us, Richard.
Welcome. I enjoy it.
And again, if you've got any wildlife updates for us, or if you've got anything you want to ask Richard, please. I'm getting attacked by this thing. Please don't hesitate to get in contact and drop us a line in the comments down below.
Yep, that'd be great.
But until then, we shall see you later.
Peace out.
Oh, check my beret.
I haven't got my hat on today. Oh,
No
dear.
hat.
No
You're
hat.
naked without the hat.
Naked.
Naked hat. Naked hat. That's not the naked. Right, come on, Sophie. Get in the zone. Right, you ready?
Always.
We're not even started yet.
Hello. Hello.
Right. Okay.
Been with a friend Dave. We've been looking at galls, and cut. It's gone. Gone. Name.
The gut of the gall.
The bugger.
I can't
Is it still
Google it.
filming, is it?
Yeah. I can't Google it because it's on my phone.
Just a minute. Just a minute. So you can start off looking for those, but equally, look at leaves. I'm just.
There's an acorn there.
There's acorns there. I'm just looking to see if we've got any on this young oak. Sorry, I'm turning away from camera. Very unprofessional. You don't get that on Countryfile, do you?
We'll talk about spring when we get to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let this train.
Oh, what's that? 11 o'clock from wherever it is to going to wherever it is.
You've missed your calling.
I have. Platform 3. Mind it all.
Please mind the gap
Please
between the
mind the
train
gap.
and the platform. It's quite a big gap sometimes.
It is. It's frightening.
I know. I don't think we'll get pushed yet.
Late at night always gets bigger. Don't know why.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, let us know your nature finds, any questions that you have for Richard. He is the brain. I am Pinky, like the Pinky and the Brain telly show. Do you remember that?
I thought you were going to say Pinky and Perky for a minute then.
Oh, it could be Pinky and Perky.
It could be.
Pinky and the Brain was like an old cartoon telly show.
Ah.
And Pinky and Brain, they're both rats, but they've been like modified in this lab. And Brain wanted to take over the world. And Pinky
There you
was
go.
just
You
like
will
the
never look at us
sidekick.
the same again.
I don't know why I said all that.
Oh,
It came into my head. I'm going to do that outro again because I don't know why I did that.
okay.